Good morning. It's Friday. And do we know who won yet? No. So let's get the update. Goodness gracious. It's exciting though. All right. Quarter number 2, day number 7, 53 overall, Friday, November 6, 2020. Homeroom specials reminder, PE at 10:30. And today, you will not need to leave. I do not have a meeting today, so you can stay in your small teams meeting. Now, today, on today's Canvas coursework main page is a special announcement for parents and guardians regarding the writing assessment next week. Please make sure your parents and guardians see this. In fact, let's just go there right now and I will read it to you forthwith. There it is. All right, special announcement regarding writing assessment. Your child is invited to take the writing assessment for portfolio check in a secure room at Ridgecrest School on Thursday, November 12th. Testing will start promptly at 8:45 a.m., so students will need to be at school by 8:30. Mrs. Gaydon, our reading coach, will proctor the 90-minute writing assessment. Once I have your confirmation that you will bring your child to school for this assessment, we will send home our confirmation and specific details for drop-off and pickup. I, Mr. Bagby, will remain in my classroom with the online students that chose not to come into school. Those students will take the 90-minute writing assessment with paper and pencil and with cameras on so I can monitor properly. Please let me know by Monday, November 9th that you have read this and whether your child will be staying home or coming into school on that day, Thursday, November 12th. Thank you very much. Okay, so we need to know. Let us know. Let's get back to the daily work assignment. And again, if you can take your iStation, please do so. We are wrapping it up today, even though the election might not be decided by today. It is getting, well, let me just show you what's going on. We go down here to the election map, or the election facts, I'm sorry, that were updated today by the Associated Press. We're still at 264 and 214, but Georgia is now leaning blue. Pennsylvania has gotten super duper duper close. And the other news is Arizona's still counting and it's getting close too, even though it's dark blue. And the Associated Press has awarded the electoral votes to Biden. So we don't know what's going to happen. But again, because of the pandemic, so many people mailed in ballots that couldn't be counted before the election. So they're now being counted, and they have to be counted after the day of election ballots are counted. So that's what's taking so long. A lot of votes, and it requires a lot of people and a lot of time because you want to be very careful. Cameras are there. It's an open setting. There's viewers, there's people involved to make sure that nothing happens that might indicate that somebody was cheating. Joe Biden's lead in the popular vote is growing. It is now, let's see, around 4 million, over 4 million votes, which was approximately what Hillary had in comparison to Donald Trump in 2016. So if Donald Trump does come back and win, which is possible, it will be the third time in 20 years that a Republican has defeated a Democrat by the Electoral College and not the popular vote. And it hadn't happened before for over 100 years. So as I stated, if it does happen, you can file it away in your minds that the Democrats are really going to push for the Electoral College to be abolished. We'll see what happens there. So let's go through those notes again down here because we're going to read through them together in class. But the more you hear them, the better you'll be able to write your paragraphs for the 3 areas. So the 8 areas are listed right here. Mr. B's class notes for our unit on USA government and history in the election process. Colonial America, there were 13 original colonies before it became the USA. They were part of the British Empire. They were all different and founded for different reasons. They felt very independent. Why? Because they had to be, since they were an entire ocean away from England. They learned how to interact as separate colonies, interact with each other, the colonies did. Second topic, the War for Independence. King George III started taxing the colonies to pay for the French and Indian War. The colonies rebelled and decided that King George III was a tyrant. The colonies wanted liberties and representation in England, and the king said no. Many historians believe that he had compromised a little bit and given in to some of their demands. We might not have had a war for independence, and we might not be the United States of America. We'd be something else. What we would be, nobody knows. Declaration of Independence. This document declared to the world that we were now a separate country free from England. It talks about rights. All men are created equal with rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The representatives of the colonies signed the document July 4th, 1776, our nation's birthday. Our federal republic democracy. This is our form of government. The federal part means strong central government, collects taxes, prints money, has armed forces. A republic, we elect representatives to help run the country. And it's a democracy because we have individual rights and we are in charge of our country. The Constitution, the law of the land. It is the most important document in our nation's history up to this present moment, and presidents pledge their allegiance to protect it when they are sworn in. They swear that they will protect and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. 3 levels of power, legislative, executive, judicial, called 3 branches. Legislative means makes laws and spends the taxes. Executive approves and enforces law, runs the military. Judicial decides if the laws are constitutional. These 3 levels have checks and balances to make sure that no one branch has too much power. The Bill of Rights. That's the first 10 amendments to our Constitution. Rights guaranteed for every single citizen's. Examples, free speech, to own firearms, the right to be represented in court, etc. A copy of the Simplified Bill of Rights is on the next page down. Yes, well, maybe not the next page down, but it's down here somewhere. Where is it, Mr. B? Uh-oh. Looks like I'm going to have to copy it onto this page before I put it in the module. Sorry about that. The election process, certain days of the year are dedicated to electing people to our government or voting on issues or new taxes. We have polls where people vote. We have to register to vote. We have very careful systems to make sure the votes are all counted correctly. Don't let anybody fool you, even though there are always mistakes because, let's see, the whole thing is run by human beings, and human beings tend to make mistakes, but there's never been broad-based or widespread fraud ever proven or shown to be in existence in our country's history. So you can feel confident that the votes are going to be counted as correctly as possible. The Electoral College, each state has a number of votes for the electing of the next president. It's based upon the number of representatives in Congress plus 2 senators. The candidate who gets 270 electoral votes, college votes, becomes the next president. It is not based on the overall national popular vote, but on the most votes in each state. That's an important thing to remember. That's why that 270 is so important. Now, for the writing of your paper, we have the terms down here. We have the notes here. Actually, in the module, the Simplified Bill of Rights is attached to this document right here, the class notes that we created together yesterday. Let's slide back up here. And remember, you have 3 well-written paragraphs for each area you choose. Feel free to look on the internet, to look through some books, to look through clever sites that can help you on any of the 3 areas that you choose to help make your paragraph really good. Do not just copy my notes. I kind of will recognize it because I wrote them. So don't just copy them. Put them in your own words. Today will be your last chance to recite the preamble, even though having a soft heart for the preamble, I'll probably let you recite it next week too. Your next dual book report is due Friday the 13th. That's the same as yesterday. So be working on that and make it sparkle with picks and colors and fonts. This remains the same, although it's a new video, and it's a Jeopardy game with all 4 different sentence types that you can play in the small teams meetings, and keep practicing writing sentences, all the different forms. There's no editing today. We wrapped up weather yesterday. And of course, we're wrapping up our unit today. Now, there is a new thing here on geography, and it's this. I want you to open up Google Maps, figure out which, I talked about that yesterday, where I want you to print out this map and show me where the municipalities are. And here's the thing. After looking up your municipality online and thinking about where you live, create a poster on the computer or on paper about it. You can copy pictures from the websites or pictures about your neighborhood or your community. But these government websites have lots of information and pictures on the neighborhoods where you live, the municipalities, I should say, because neighborhoods exist inside the municipalities. The municipalities are either towns, villages, or cities. That's getting to know your own area's geography. In other words, getting to know the world right around you, which seems kind of important to know that, Mr. Bagby says and believes. When I'm really strong about this, if we went to Cincinnati today, I could take anybody on a tour of the city and be like a tour guide for the city, knowing all the different neighborhoods. And when I moved down here, I found out after just 6 months, I had learned more about Tampa Bay than a lot of people that I met that lived here. So I think it's important to know where you live and to find out about it. Especially, find out about your flood zone and your evacuation level too, because you can do that with your with this map. This is a really cool map here because it really shows you, depending upon where you live, how quickly you would have to evacuate and how prone your area is to flooding from a hurricane or from a deluge of rain. Because guess what? That estimated time of arrival, ETA, Tropical Storm ETA, is still churning away. And it's right here. This is updated as of this morning, 7 a.m. And here's where it's supposed to be. You can see it's like a curveball. It's coming around. Now, this is a projection, like a guess, a hypothesis, if you may. And it looks like it's curving up that way. And let's hope it doesn't do that. No, we want it to just go out here and just swirl away into nothing and swirl up the water only, but it's not how it usually works. Got some cool new visual puzzles today. We're putting an end to the mind games. This is really cool. Only 2 socks are identical. Find them. Put their numbers down below in the answers. And which 2 through 10 are not fragments of 1? So here's 1. So which 2 of these does not fit anywhere on this larger drawing? So you got to look carefully. Visual puzzles. All right, I think that will about do it for today's Mr. Bagby's video of the day's events. And we will see you soon. Keep paying attention to this election results because they'll be coming in all day.